I did it. All right, we're going to start it, and here comes our recording. So good for you. Everybody showed up in anticipation of the bad weather we're about to ready to get. So it is Iowa, and it is the girls' basketball tournament. So we need to have bad weather for that,
Of course.
right? It's always. All right. What was I going to talk about? First, I'm going to ask any of you, I sent that email out about the MyHeritage. And the fact that they've got a free, and it's because of Roots Tech, I'm sure, that you can move your results from other testing companies into there and get the full blown. Is there anybody there here that's interested in doing that? Wave at me. And if they need, do you need help on how to download your results? Okay, looks like everybody's right
What's
with
the
that.
advantage if we do that?
You're fishing in a new pond. MyHeritage does an awful lot of European. And so Stacy was just saying she got contacted by somebody that lives in Germany and shares her name and has a DNA match. So that'd be the only reason is you've got another pond that you can fish in for matches. So and it's free. So that's not a bad thing to do. So if any of you are interested in doing that, we'll check in at the end of at the session. But you also have my email address, so you can always email me and I can talk you through how to download and upload. It's not hard, but the first time you do it, you're just like, what is this all about? Okay, so Sherry is on her way, or she should be there by now at Salt Lake City for Roots Tech. So she's not available, and she's the one that always keeps me on track. So we aren't there yet. So I tapped Dennis Allen because he has, bless his heart, worked with me on 23andMe which reminds me, I need to make Dennis co-host. Where are you? Where are you, Dennis? There you are. There you are. I'm gonna make you co-host. There you go. Yes. No, not Stacy. I got the wrong one. No, I got off by one. Make co-host. Yes, you are co-hosting, so that's good. So you can share. But he walked me through 23andMe and how to use their tree because it is, to me, it's not intuitive. And so I don't know how many of you have tested with 23andMe. They are very much a standalone situation. You can't upload your information to 23andMe, so you have to test with them. And and there are a lot of people that have tested with them for the health stuff, but not other. So Dennis, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you show off how their tree works because it is not the same as anybody else's.
Let's make sure
Okay.
that's green, I hope. Share.
You're
All right,
sharing.
can you see my screen now?
Yep, we can lose 15% of our body weight. Okay.
So when just so you know, I'm pretty informal, just chit chat, whatever you want to say, but I'll go through what I know about it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. They've changed it a little bit in a recent history. Where used to you could only get to your tree under family and friends. You go down to your family tree. But now you can get to it a couple other ways. Under ancestry, you can get to your tree as well. And if you go to a DNA relative, we'll go there real quick. Maybe. Blame the internet on Denny.
There you go. Is he in tonight?
Yeah, he's here next to me.
Okay.
So I'm pulling up my family.
There you go.
And if I click on my sister here, you'll see here, you can reach her here as well. View your family tree. So we'll go to our family tree. So let's get you out of the way somewhere. So you get your normal things and you can add a tree. I don't like that they call this a family tree because anytime you recalculate your tree, it will get rid of everybody that you've thrown in. So I do not recommend trying to track a tree with this. The only thing I recommend with it is put in what you need to know, figure out who's where. But it automatically calculates, so it's a really great visual for non-paternal events or people who are visual people. It sorts them out. When it comes up, you have no clue on who is the parent or the male or the female in a group. So this right here, whoever this person is, will go there. So this James Jackson, I don't know if I'm related to his mother or his father. So I'm kind of lost on which way I should be looking there. But I do know that if I keep tracking it, it comes back to me through here, here. It comes through my mother's side. So you have to track through the tree to get back to where you're going. So with me putting my mom and dad in, at least I knew there. But then I need to come up here and figure out, is this my grandmother or is this my grandmother? Which one's which? So you have to do that. These down here, don't get carried away with until you need to figure out who they are. A lot of them, we know who they are. So in this sense, this is my mom's cousin Peggy. So this would be her mother. And it would go back to my grandparents, my great grandparents. So yeah, only put in what you want to do. And what happens is when you recalculate, it'll go out and it'll pull new DNA in for you. So if you've had 50 people test since you calculated your tree, it'll say, okay, you're close enough that I will pick. And it varies what it picks. It'll pick sometimes the second once or twice removed. Sometimes it's third once or twice removed. You never know what it builds. They won't really tell how they're calculating it out, but it always goes to about the second to third cousins once or twice removed. So you can tell here, this is my tree. So when I click add on this bottom left, it says 60 unplaced relatives. So it got rid of 60 names I had there. I can go back in here and I can put all of them. This is my grandmother. I can put her back in her spot. My Aunt Donna, I can put her back in. So it just removes them. So don't really use it as a tree. Use it as a guide to figure out who you're related to. And to me, the best part of this tree is the fact that if there's non-paternal events, it really shows up well what you can't see in other realms. So like in Ancestry, you just have a list of names and then you have to start calculating who's related to who's related to who. So you've got that. So I've done it twice with 2 non-paternal events and we found their parents within like 3 days. So it's helped a lot in that sense. It helps in everything else as well. There's cousins on here I do not know. It was these Jacksons over here. I don't know them, but at least I could figure them out. Just like anything else with DNA, remember it does not calculate things such as cousin or double cousins, half siblings, 3/4 siblings. It does not calculate those in. So for the longest time, my granduncle, he was my uncle. So I had to keep forcing it to go back to another line. I can move a person like Ryan here. If I want to edit Ryan, I can say move the person. And to move Ryan, where does he belong? I can say, okay, he belongs right here. And I click that dot and that's where he'll go. So you can adjust the tree if you know there's a mistake that 23andMe has made. So you can go around, you can move a whole branch if you want. In my granduncle's case, he has a granddaughter who tested as well. So I could move that whole branch at once. He goes up to here and does it. So there's that. One thing I really like about this, besides that, if you are a visual person, is you can zoom back out here a little bit. With this one here, I can come in and I can switch profiles and I can go to my sister. And you can see my sister, she might have somebody else that I'm not seeing. This person right here, I didn't see that person, so she gets to see it. So use all of your relatives to look at their trees, and it's real quick to look at. And in my case, I have my sister, my uncle, my granduncle, a bunch of cousins that have tested for me. I have double cousins. Double cousins, it messes up on. Sometimes it'll throw them in as half siblings. Sometimes it'll throw them in as aunt and niece. So I'm always recalculating their relationship. So, um,
Can I ask a question? So
sure.
do they, do you have to choose, do you have to go into your matches and choose which ones you want to have inserted into the tree?
It automatically puts certain ones in.
Okay.
And then I believe, if I remember right, it used to be, if I have another cousin that I know and they have tested and I can build to them, you only get like 150 to 200 positions to fill.
Okay.
And I can throw them in and say they are a DNA match.
Okay.
So they let you play a little bit. I've made requests a few times to say, if I know these people, I want to be able to lock them into my tree so that they don't get thrown out for those reasons. And I have, let's see if Tara's still on here. I have one cousin, she comes on and off. This one here, sometimes she's on my tree. She's the one that I found her father for.
Mhm.
Sometimes Tara will be on my tree, sometimes she won't be on my tree. And so I'd like to lock her in. Her son has tested and I do not have him on my tree, so I haven't tried putting him in. So yes, you get those things. If you have, in the case of my double cousins who are on here, see if I can find them real quick. Am I on bet? Okay. Dad. This side probably. I've got the two double cousins and it will not let me just go to one of them. So here's my cousin Barb. This is This is her double cousin right here, Christy. But I cannot hook Christy's mother back to Barb's father. It will not let me do that in this tree. So there's things that you cannot do, and it's really, it does a nice for being able to see if you're a visual person, but it's not the most intuitive, like you said, Teresa. It's very difficult to use. It gets confusing sometimes. People want to use it as a tree, and it's not really a tree. It gives you the aspect of a tree to use, but if you recalculate, your tree changes. And I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and, one of the things to recalculate your tree, and I used to do it every 6 months. And one thing I will highly recommend, if you're gonna recalculate your tree, take pictures of it first, because it will change. So take screenshots, even take your tree that you're having here and rebuild it on like Roots Magic as a second tree. And that could be an advantage there, because if you lose somebody and it gains somebody, you'll figure out how to put those back on. But to recalculate, it's very convoluted. So you want to go to Ancestry. You want to go to your DNA relatives. You want to go to your frequently asked questions. Then you have to scroll down. Here in the family tree editing. And right here, how do I recalculate my tree? They make it hard to get to, which is a good thing, but sometimes you forget about recalculating your tree. Permanently delete all my tree edits. So anything you've put in, it's going to delete it, and it tells you that. So I say, okay, no, do not recalculate my tree. Yes, delete my edits and recalculate my tree. So I'm going to recalculate her. It says 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't take that long. Go back to Barb. I'm back on Barb now. I want to see. There it's going across. It takes about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. So yeah, while it's calculating, the biggest thing I like about it is the fact that if it's a non-paternal event, that's what I try and push for. If somebody says, well, I got a non-paternal event, then I'll look at it. Here you can see the view unplaced relatives. So these are all the people that it lost. And I can re-put all of those in the tree if I want. So like this is Barb, so her mom is Juanita, so I want to put Juanita in. Now I got to figure out how they're related, because Christy doesn't make it easy. So this is my Aunt Juanita here. So I put her back in. Charles is right here. And you can see here that it's saying Juanita somehow is related here to Christy in a sense, where this is Juanita's brother, and I need to put Uncle Charles's sister right here. So it's got them like a half sister almost right now. So you have to go through all of that and rebuild. So then I'd have to pull the tree over. But you can see how before, whenever Christy was halfway across the screen, now it put her right next to it. So, and it said there were new people added. So I'd have to go through and see. But I can tell right off the bat which ones are which and things like that. So the Richard Jacksons. So yeah. So yes, this is almost like when somebody asks you, what do you recommend? Family Tree Maker, Legacy, or Roots Magic. It's all your own preference. This one here, it's the same, but I also make the comment, if it's a non-fraternal event, I like to see them test here first. Not because of the quantity, but because of this piece right here. And that's the only reason, is this right here helps them see a visual of who they could be related to. And then anything else, I tell them, test with Ancestry. But if there's no non-fraternal event, always test with Ancestry first. So.
I noticed just above the tree in that green bar, it says new historical records were found. View all, what the heck is that?
I think they are starting to get into the record side of it.
Oh,
So US Social Security Death Index.
okay.
So I have no clue who Wanda is, but that's part of their additional fee one now.
Okay.
And they were doing a monthly subscription. So I don't know how well that's taken off for them. They're trying to get back above water.
Mhm.
So
If I remember correctly, you can tell them where you have a full-blown tree somewhere. Where would that have been? I can't remember.
I don't think that you used to be able to, if I remember right, like you said, I think you used to be able to attach a JEDCOM.
Well, I thought they asked you, do you have a tree somewhere? And you could say, yes, it's on Ancestry, yes, it's on, but I can't remember. Does anybody else use 23andMe? Nope, not so much. Okay.
So yes,
Okay.
so if somebody's doing a non-fraternal event search, this is where I go because you can see how quickly it breaks out a person's tree. This is Barb Henson's father's side, and this is her mother's side. So that quick, I can see, at least see who's where. And then it's just figuring out, okay, which one's her grandfather, which one's her grandmother. And then I can come off of that. So
While you've got it up, what, if you hit family and friends on top, what's that? I'm gonna have you,
I've never figured it out because if they hit me in DNA, they're not friends, they're family, right?
uh-huh,
So
yeah.
in overview, it just talks
Wait a
about
minute.
your tree,
Okay, go ahead, family tree, okay.
viewing your tree, and then it goes into your DNA relative list and your connections. Their
Mhm.
connections is really funny because you got to share connections to chat and this and that. But to see your relative list,
Yeah.
it's pretty much like ancestry in that sense.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
this is Barb, and this is the double cousin. Remember I said that shows up like a niece or a half sibling sometimes. Right now they have her as a niece. But it's just like
Yeah,
uh ancestry where I could come down and say, no clue who this person is. Jerry Rogers. They connect through their second great grandparent. I can manually add to the tree now for him. And then, sorry, find relatives in common.
okay.
So Christie's her half sister here, where it was her niece in the other piece. So it's really weird. It doesn't catch that double cousin part. I'm not recognizing any of these names from my side. So I think this is on Barb's father's side and Christie's mother's side. So, because I don't recognize any of these. So, so yeah, so it's that self triangulation like we can do with Ancestry, who's related to who and where.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Okay.
um, you get your haplogroups. And there's your composition, where you're from. One thing I do like, and I didn't do it on Barb's, this is unusual for me because Barb's isn't filled out here. I put a little bit in here. But this person's got a lot filled out here. And nothing here where she's got the opposite. I'm not used to a lot of people seeing information on theirs. And it's just like Ancestry, people came in to just see their genetic makeup as far as their nationalities. And you can message somebody and never hear from them. Or you can have full-blown conversations. I can pull up Jerry, just say message, and I can start a conversation with him. I think the connecting part, I can see more of his information. And they do make it so you can share. People can see your information. So now like see, I can't see my sister in here.
There you go.
So my ancestry. So here's my overview. I did do the medical side of it. So I can see my relatives. And they do multiple spots like that. You can pull from the drop-down menu or even from the homepage, you can get to most of the places. Earlier today, I could not see this sister. So finally she kicked in, so. The top one, she's always said she was more of a sister to me than the other one, so she is a little bit. I'm lucky I have my uncle, my first cousins. I got a few first cousins. And then this is my grandmother's brother. So yeah, I've got some deep DNA for that side of the line, but nobody matches it. I have a lot of cousins who I know here. My whole first page. They change it, but I know down to here, I know everybody of Mackenzie and up. And then I know a couple down below down here, Tara and her kids and that, so. I have a lot of family who's tested with this. You can change your sorts. You can go to percentage relates, newest relatives, so I can click and see who's the newest ones that popped up. So. But. And I think one of my favorite features is the fact that I can see, I can carry multiple kids. So Teresa, Jason Zilk.
Sure.
I couldn't imagine his over here if he would have done 23andMe. So he did Ancestry, but
Yeah, he's tested everybody that he could get to hold still. So that's it.
yeah, I'm sure he owns over 150 tests. So
yeah. Let's see on the
oh,
chat.
one other thing, so you
Go ahead.
know, on the tree, there is a feature now. See if it's down here. I can invite people to see my tree.
Okay.
I think I can invite 4 or 5 people to view my tree. I just have to put in who they are, send their emails up, invite up to 5.
Okay.
So. Okay, what do you got for questions?
Well, Chuck said he noticed that they don't give the actual centimorgans, they give percentages.
Yes.
Where can we translate that?
DNA Painter does a good job at that.
Okay.
So yes, right here. Yeah, it shows 48% versus whatever it is. I'll click on her. they used to have a spot in here, see if they still have it. It would tell me it as well. It used to say, they used to give them both right there if you, then they got rid of it, so.
We're, if I remember correctly, we're starting with 7,000. Is that about what it is?
It's a little under
Hmm,
that, but you're close. 7,000 is really close.
Okay, so I mean, you could do some rapid arithmetic, Chuck, if you had to. Take your percentage times 7,000 and that'll tell you what your DNA
The
is.
shared Morgan tool at DNA Painter will help you also get a range for
Yeah.
what 48%
I'm gonna
is.
pop that up real quick, Teresa.
Sure, good.
Good job.
Good job. Because Carl is
So,
doing a DNA painter thing. Okay, so here's dnapainter.com.
Where's my
And
tool? There they are up here.
tools
Tools.
up on top.
And here. So like my sister, I think she was 48.6
Yeah,
and, oh, that was a son of Morgan's. Here. 48.6. 3616.
okay.
So,
So that'll get you what you need to do, Chuck. Because I don't think in terms of percentages.
right, and I don't either. And that was some of the things that you can tell that 23andMe was not created by a genealogist. Because the tree's not a good tree. Things like family and friends, well, they're all family if they're DNA related to you. So, yeah.
Hit
Health
the
and
Go ahead. I would say hit the ancestry button there.
This one? Okay.
Yeah. And that's how you get your, okay, I'm hallucinating about, maybe it's in the profile. Do we have a profile that we can look at? It's your picture up on top. Oh, that's not you. View your profile. Then let's go down a bit. Keep
Family
going.
tree right here.
Yeah, there it is. So it does ask where you've got a tree.
Yep.
Okay. But nobody else sees that.
Right,
So that doesn't help.
right.
Okay.
I think if you connect with them, they can see that.
Okay. Okay.
So. But yes, I do like that does Ancestry show the haplogroups now?
Nope.
Nope.
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh.
They don't do haplogroups.
So I do get those with this.
Mhm. Okay.
If you want to see health, I don't have a problem showing mine.
Okay.
Is it worth it? I don't think so. I would rather use the Prometheus if you want to see health reports.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun stuff, but yeah,
So to use Prometheus, you download your DNA and upload it to them?
yes.
Okay.
And I think they're part of Family Tree DNA, if I remember right,
MyHeritage.
MyHeritage.
Okay.
And sometimes you can get it for free and you just have to watch. And then other times, I think now it's like 12 or 15 bucks now. But
Bad.
you get like a 4,000 page report. It's a lot. So,
Okay. Oh, okay. We'll have to look at that one of these days.
One of the things about the health reports, they are going for the low hanging fruit. We had a medical genetic counselor speak to our DNA study group out here in Colorado several years ago. And she was talking about just, for example, the BRCA gene for breast cancer. 23andMe looks at like a dozen places when she tests somebody for that, she's testing like 25 or 30 different genes. So the medical field does a lot more in depth. This is more of just a screening to say, maybe you ought to talk to a medical professional.
Yeah, and that's one thing they do put out, that don't use this in, their answers are more of, you're more likely to get this, or you're less likely to get this. So,
Oh, you can do a family health history tree. Okay. All right, good.
anything else you'd like to know? See,
No, did
if I don't know,
anybody
we
else,
can see it.
does anybody else test with 23andMe? I mean, I
I-
did it simply because I wanted to, but
Yeah, I use 23andMe some, and I can give you a little story about why it's good to test at other sites. When I first did a SLIG course with CC Moore, she required us to have a test with 23andMe, Family Tree DNA, and Ancestry as a prerequisite for the course. I had not tested at 23andMe. When I tested, my closest match was a woman that I didn't recognize her name, and I opened up her profile and she said, I was born in Saigon in 1967. I'm looking for my father.
oh,
Her father is my second cousin,
oh,
but I would never have found her. She would never have found me if I hadn't have tested at that other site, because she's not on any other site.
was she here in the US or was she still in Vietnam?
She's here. She came as a refugee and graduated from high school and college in the States. She's a business owner and been here since the 70s.
Okay, and this is our question always is, are they connected? Did they get in contact?
I give her the information that I found about who her father was. She reached out, and the father's wife doesn't want her to have any contact with her father.
Okay,
But she did get her half brother to test and confirm the relationship.
okay. Okay. Oh, well,
I tested with 23andMe as well. That's the first one we did. When Lori was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, they wanted to know about the APOE genes. And so I contacted 23andMe and downloaded all the information. And the doctor wanted me to bring in the whole thing. It was over 10,000 pages. And so I put it on a little drive and I copied the one page that was pertinent. But it proved that she was eligible for the Alzheimer's drug that she's on now. So we didn't have to go to another source to try and find that. So it did us some good.
And 23andMe is going to be at RITSTEC this year. They were at RITSTEC back about 2019 for 1 year, and then they disappeared, but they're going to be back on the exhibit floor this year.
and for those of you, obviously we're not going to be there. Glenn's driving in tomorrow, but the rest of us are not going to be there. But if you register for Roots Tech for the virtual, or the remote, you can literally go, they have a virtual vendor floor and you can go in and look at all the vendors and see what they've got and if they're having specials and so forth and so on. And he was telling us that Family Tree DNA will have a special, but you have to go to their booth, their virtual booth, to get the codes and so forth and so on. So I don't know if you've all registered for Roots Tech, but you should. You should. It's fun. So that's it. Yeah.
Most of the vendors will have some special event pricing, and you go to the vendor booth and you can do a chat with them and ask your questions of the different vendors if you have questions about some of their products or software.
And Anne just said she tested with 23andMe too, also. So that's good. So there's some interest out there. Like I said, I did it primarily because I just wanted to know what it was all about. So that if we had a conversation, but some of my cousins, I still remember looking at it and going, how could Michael Mahoney be a DNA match to me? He's married to my cousin. And then I realized their son's name, he's always gone by Mick, but he's a Michael Mahoney too. So then he could be, he is my cousin's son. So that worked. But every once in a while it throws you for a loop where you're like, wait a minute, how can that person be there? So that's it. Okay. Thank you, Dennis. We appreciate that.
Hope that
Okay.
helped a little.
It did. At least it gives us an idea. I have to go back in. Ann Evans says she tested with 23andMe and hasn't looked at it for a while. So she's probably like me. I got to go back in and say, hey, what's going on here? So that's it. Okay. All right. I'll let you stop sharing.
Do,
Do, do, do, do, do, do, do.
shut off. There it goes.
There it is. Okay. You're up and running. Okay. Carla, do you have time to show off the matrix if I set you up?
Yes, no
Okay,
problem.
hold on. I'm gonna take him off as remove co-host, and I'm gonna make Carla be co-host. Okay, yes. So she's gonna show us how she makes the matrix. It's the movie, The Matrix, not really, but that's okay. So this is family tree DNA. And this is one of those, if you test with, let's say, Ancestry or 23andMe, you can upload your results from them and send it over here if you ever want to do it. So that's it.
This one is a little bit different than like Ancestry, where Ancestry I can maintain all of my kits from one account.
All right.
This one I literally have to sign in to each individual kit that I own or
Mhm.
that I have on here. And so you have to sign out and then sign into the other one. So it makes it not so fun that way. But once you get into somebody, this is their dashboard or your landing page, basically. And like Teresa said, she wanted me to show what the matrix looked like. There's a couple of different ways to get to the matrix. You can get to it from here. And if you do that, I'm just going to open it up in a new window. But if you do that, you come in here and absolutely nothing is selected, right? The other, and you can work through and figure it out, but there's another way that you can do that as well. So if you go to Family Finder Matches, basically this is a list of me, and then the first several people, these are my matches, but the first several are going to be people that I own their kits or I manage their kits, because this is my mother, this is my sister, my uncle, my aunt, another aunt, and an uncle. Okay. So on this list, it's basically got all the people that have, just like your ancestry match. And so everybody up through about here, I know exactly how they're related to me because I know them. I grew up with them or I've met them over the years.
Hide this
So say this, I'm going to just pick on this person
first screen.
because I'm not quite this.
Can I hit the maximize?
Oh, somebody's talking in the background there. Okay.
Dennis, can I get you to mute? Thank you. So this Larry Wynn, I want to figure out how he might be related to me because I don't have a clue. So over here, there's this thing that says in common with or not in common with. And what I do is just click on that and select in common with. And what it's doing is it's basically saying, hey, between you and Larry, these are all the people that you're both related to. And there's no surprise here that these three people show up because it was either going to have to be on my mother's side or my father's side. And regardless, my sister is full biological, so she was going to show up regardless, right? So no surprises up to here. To get to the matrix from this point, what I can do is go in here and say, okay, great. I want to select this person and this person. And notice it's popped up this little screen down here. that's starting to say, hey, these are the people you've selected. And so I'm going to select just a handful of them. I'm not going to select all of them. You can do up to 10 what I've been able to see. And you can compare it through the chromosome browser or through the matrix. And the matrix is what I was going to show you. So when you come in here now, it's got, these are the list of people that I have, that I match, right? And if they are in this list over here, that you can see hopefully you can see they're a little bit darker or a lighter gray. Like Eugene is not in this list, so he's a little bit darker than Stacia is. Emily's not in this list over here, so she's a little bit darker than Stacia is. If I know that there's somebody else that's on this list, like Larry, which is the person I started with, I just double click on him and it adds him to this list. Now, the whole reason you want to create this list is because I've got 8 out of 10 people. Then you come down here and you're seeing this matrix so it's got all the people you've chosen across the top and down the side. Where it says gray, that's basically my sister cannot be, match with herself. She is herself. So that's just a gray thing going all the way through there, telling you where your matrix splits, right? It also is telling you that this R. Maston is related to my uncle, my sister, doesn't appear to have any DNA in common with Joshua Kraft. Doesn't mean that they're not related, just means that they might be so far apart that they don't have anything in common. He does have something in common with this Larry, but not with Stacia or Caroline. So the whole idea is that you can kind of try and use this matrix to match up people and understand how they're related to each other. It's just another version of that in common with tool, but it shows you the centimorgans in a different fashion. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So you can, like I said, this Stacia, you can see that Stacia, I know that Stacia is through my dad's side of the family, definitely related to my Uncle Sean, to my sister. But again, this is telling me that Larry has got to be on that, what I call my Boland family, because the ancestor that I have in common with Stacia is my Boland ancestor. And if he was not related to the Bolands in some way, shape, or form, he wouldn't have anything in common with Stacia. Same thing with Carolyn. She has got to be related to me through the Bolands, because otherwise we would not have Stacia in common. So it's just kind of another way to look at your matches. If you want to clear it all out, I'm just sitting here clicking through them to get rid of them. Another way to look at it is I say, okay, I want my mom, I want my sister. I'm going to throw in my uncle that I know is not going to be related to these other people, just so you can see what that looks like as well. So my Uncle Sean, the only person he's going to be related to is my sister, because he is on my dad's side. And all the rest of these people are on my mom's side. So that's the fact there's zeros everywhere except for this one is a dead giveaway. He doesn't belong in this group. So if I come up here and get rid of him, then it kind of shows you how they're all related to each other. How many centimorgans they've got in common with each other. And you can tell they're all related about the same amount to Donald, and they're all related about the same amount to each other, except for my sister. And if I take her out of there, you can see that those numbers are very similar because they're all siblings, right? And let's see, if I put Donald's daughter in there. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Thought I was clicking on somebody else. Oh, there she is, one off. So with his daughter, you can see, again, she's about half of his, but she is definitely related to all of these people. Now, if there was somebody else that was on this list that I wanted to try and compare to see if they were related to this, what I call my Haudeshell Horton family, I could put them on there and see if they are this HCE, whoever this is You can tell he's related to everybody except the Robinsons. So that tells me he's related through my mom's side of the family, but it might be on her mother's side instead of on her father's side. So then I have to find somebody who's got my grandmother's DNA only and put them in this list to see if that's where this person kind of goes, right?
Yeah. I did figure out when I was trying this is that you can search by
Mhm.
last name, so that helps a little bit. Yeah.
Because I had somebody earlier that I was looking for. Oop. And you can start looking in, it's going to give you Matthew, but it's also going to give you Matthews and Maddie. So it's not just going to search on the last name. It's
Yeah.
truly going to be
So
everybody that.
if you find somebody that you like, then you can just click on them and they show up on the right-hand side then. There's.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just clicked on that guy. He shows up over here. So now I'm at 9 of 10 matches. And if I come down here, it's showing that he's not related to anybody here. You know, I just picked him at random. So who knows? Let me see if I pick. Okay. I know. Oops. That's not what I wanted. The Matthew Brewster. Oh, he's a different side of the family as well. But that's kind of what, like I said, if you go over to your, no, that's not the one I want. If you go to your list and you pick somebody that you want to figure out is, who all do I have in common with this person? So I'm going to pick on, this would have been my grandfather's cousin, I guess. So if I pick on him to find out who I have in common with him, knowing that he is only from that Boland side of the family, then I get this list of people that I could start just saying, hey, who, I don't know who you are. I want to find out where that name comes from. And I just start adding them to the list. Oh, the Blairs. I know how I'm related to them. So I'm going to add them. And again, related to my uncle and related to my cousin Stacia. And it fills all these in here and then also builds this list. So again, you can see that how these people are related to each other. So like very obvious one here, there's Thomas Franklin Haroldson. Definitely related to the Bolands here, but not related to anybody else on this list. Chances are that he really is, but because he's so low to begin with these two, he just probably doesn't have a whole lot in common with any of these.
I think it defaults to 6 centimorgans and you can make it be 10. And those are the only options, I think. in
Right.
terms- Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you can't rule him out. Like I said, but he's only 22 with Eugene and he's only 58 with my Uncle Sean. So the chances are that he probably is related to these people through the Boland side.
Mhm.
Because these bottom 4 I know definitely are, but they really don't have anything in common with each other, right? I mean, they're not like Candace and Sean is only 72, Michael and Sean is only 36. So we don't have a lot in common with them. So, and we don't have a lot in common with him, but so then you have to go do your family tree to prove whether you
I went through, I've got somebody that we don't know how we are related, but we're like third cousins, which is relatively close. And it's an Irish branch, whatever. So I went through and took, I did the in common with, so I got the whole list of supposedly that Maureen and I share. And I clicked all, ticked each one of their boxes. It came with a matrix and most of them had zeros. So I have no idea. I got to go back and try it again. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense if we're in common with and they don't show anything. They don't show any DNA numbers. So it's
that
strange.
sounds a bit odd, right?
Yeah.
Except unless you don't have a lot in common with them to begin with.
Yeah.
And so like this, can't even say the name, let alone know who this person is. But there's 111 people that I have in common with them. Well, if you
Mhm.
discount my sister and my uncle and my grandfather's cousin, right? The next highest one is only 69 Centimorgans.
Mhm.
So the chances of getting all zeros or getting a lot of zeros are going to be higher because these are so far apart. But as I select these people, I can go over there, but I'm getting down into the 27s, the 25s. So we really have very little in, me and these people have very little in common to begin with. So if he doesn't have anything in common with them, or this person doesn't have anything in common with them, it does not surprise me. Yeah, see, there's a lot of zeros here.
Yeah, right down there. You're like,
What-
how did Lauren get in there? She,
She's got something in common with them, right?
yeah. How did
But
she get in there? And Sarah, Miss Sarah Gowdell,
yeah,
she's got all zeros.
the thing
But
is,
she,
they are both, they have me and they have whoever the person was that I shared Eliana Henry.
Henry, yeah,
They've got us two in common, but they have nothing else in common with anybody else on this list.
right, right. So you'd think they'd hit one or the other, but you never know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. You'd think they'd have somebody, but if they had very little in common with us to begin with, they could be that one step farther out that just makes it impossible to count any DNA.
Go back up to Eliana, the one that you chose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you're in common with. No, I was going to say,
I'll go back over to here. Uh-huh.
yeah. So you share.
If
Aha. What do you share with her?
That's what I was gonna look and see if it doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't show me that there. Let me get out of these, some of these. Let me stop the in common with, because then I can actually see what I
Fine.
share in common. That's one thing I don't like the in common with. It doesn't tell me the person I'm selected who or how much I've got in common, or I
dropped
haven't
that.
figured out how to get that yet. Where are you? There you are. I only share 50 centimorgans.
Okay. Your longest block is 36, which is nothing to sneeze at, but yeah.
Right, but it's when you're starting to then triangulate with somebody else,
Yeah.
that's not a lot to triangulate with. I mean, it is if you've got everybody else is like 200 or 130 or 100, but the same thing. Well, down here, this Gail Blair, I know how I'm related to Gail Blair, so I'm going to pull up the in common with. Because Gail is also in that low range of I think it was 49. And then I'm going to go back. I don't know why it puts me down at the bottom of the list all the time, but then I'm going to pick people that are, hello. It pops that thing up right in your way. So then I'm going to compare. And I picked all the lower people, right? The ones that I didn't have a lot in common with. So, but you can see that
Everybody's got
it's pretty
something.
good there.
Yeah.
You look at this Douglas Moore and this Connie Fluer, they have
Brother.
got siblings.
Yeah. They have to be siblings.
Yeah. And I just picked them by random, right? But that
Yeah.
goes to show you that it can be helpful.
Yeah.
Because if
And
you can
Heidi
find
Woods.
them, then you can find her, right? I mean, in the tree somehow.
Yeah. So no, not siblings. They would be they'd be parent and child at 3,500.
Yes, you're right. Sorry, you're right. 35.
Because Michelle Oliver and Michael Blair are siblings with 2,700 probably.
You're right.
Yeah, okay.
Gail Blair is their mother.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. I get a little confused.
It's easy to do. This, like I said, this tool in a slightly less useful format has been around for administrators for a long time. It's nice to see that they've fixed it up a little bit and given it to more people to use. But like here, if I want to find out if there's any more Robinsons in there, then I can see my two that I know I'm definitely related to, but I could also find potentially others that might be related to them. And no surprise, they're all my relatives. But if I want to put, let's see, do I have somebody else that's, there's a Nancy Blair, so I can see how, and there's Gail. Which, how does I wonder how that works, because. Oh, that just adds Gail to my list and shows me what Gail has in common with each of these people. Okay.
They just keep coming up with, and for most of us, we're kind of disappeared in the weeds on this one. You know, it's, a lot of us would go, oh, that's interesting, but I don't know what it's gonna do for me, but you never know, it might someday.
Yeah, if you are trying to, if you've got like that NPE, or you've got somebody that you're trying, I got my husband's grandmother. If I had somebody on here that was trying to figure out how they might be related to him, she was adopted. So knowing how they were related to each other might help me identify a branch of a tree that I need to go dig into. Like this Moore and Blue Art, if I could find his Douglas Moore's tree, I've got a last name and I can try and go backwards on, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with Gail Blair. If I didn't know how Gail was related to me, then I could use that, say, go, oh my gosh, this Blair does not fit with everybody else, but Gail, Michelle, and Michael all, let's go figure out how they fit with my tree. And they can help me narrow down a tree that I have no idea where I belong.
Okay. Good. Chuck asks, does family tree DNA only match against others that have added their DNA to family tree DNA? And the answer is yes. That you have to have either tested with family tree DNA or uploaded, downloaded your results from some other company and uploaded it to them. It has to be in their database to make it work. So.
Correct. Now, some of my stuff I've paid for over the years.
Yeah.
On Ancestry, some of my kits, and some of them I've imported with permission from the person on Ancestry.
Yep.
The thing that about family tree DNA that makes it unique is it, to my knowledge, I haven't heard of anybody else that's doing Y-DNA testing yet.
Right.
And I don't know of anybody else that does the mtDNA testing. And so I've gotten all the men in my life, my uncles, my husband, have all been Y-DNA tested, so we could track that as well as mtDNA.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, well, I showed you the Family Finder matches, but you've got the same thing with mtDNA. It's got the same little, I'm gonna open this up so you can see the map. And then I also want to show you, let's see, ancient origins. Is that okay, Teresa?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. So other things that are on Family Tree DNA, this is the equivalent of Ancestry 23andMe saying, here's your pie chart. And that's my breakdown here. Now it doesn't, it's just like all the other sites. They don't necessarily agree. They've got some overlap, but they've got their own test database. So the results I get here, nobody else has told me I'm from the Greece or Balkans, right? Nobody else has told me I'm East Slavic. Other places say, yeah, you're Ireland, but maybe I'm more Ireland or less Ireland than I have here. So that's just like all the other databases. They're a little bit different with their numbers or their percentages. But you can also then compare origins if you opt in to do that. Ancient origins, this is kind of a little fun, but it's really doesn't tell you a whole lot. It basically tells you that I'm 10% Middle Age invader, 43% farmer, 47% hunter-gatherer, and I am 100% European, period. And no ifs, ands, or buts. And what they're basing that on is if you see these little brown things back here, I just clicked it up. So each one of these is somewhere that they found remains, like Cheddar Man, or this one's called La Bragna. I don't know if Cheddar Man is even,
They
he's
don't
not.
have anything in England, yeah.
Yeah, well, because, yeah, I don't know why they don't have that, but so then there's this person, there's this Loschbor in Luxembourg. Literally, they have got, Stuttgart, all these different places that basically they are comparing you to these ancient finds from 8,000 years ago or whatever, 5,000 years ago. And so they use that to say, well, this person was a hunter-gatherer, or this one was a farmer. If I want to see Metal Age invaders, you can kind of see how they come in here. If I want to see farmer, you can see where they came in from. It's just another little, there's your hunter-gatherers, just another little way to look at your ancient DNA. And they give you a little bit of definition of what that is and where they got the information from, so.
Yeah.
That was my Swift tutorial.
Hey, Carla, are you a project administrator at Family Tree DNA?
I am.
Just a hint, you can contact them and set up a private project and put all the kits that you manage into that private project. And then you can log in once and get access to all of them.
And, oh, okay, differently than through the administration page.
Yeah, you'd get
Okay.
the same access as with a project. I just did that with all the ones I manage, and I set each of them up with giving me advanced access through that private project. So I can go in there and access all of them from one sign-in.
So you don't have to remember everybody's kit number.
Well, I have them all set up for, like, if I sign out, literally, whenever I click here, it's going to tell me the list of everybody, right? So I have it set up anyway. It's just very.
But I don't necessarily remember which one's which.
It's a-
Well, I just happen to know the order. This is what's really weird. I know the order in which I got people tested.
Okay.
And
It's,
so that tells me who is each person, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
the project or the private project does give you the access so you can go into one person, and then if you want to look at it from the other direction, you can easily switch between people and look at
There you go.
relationships.
That's cool. Okay, thank you.
That's cool. Yay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. John Terry, have you done anything with your Y lately? Yeah, you're muted. You're good. You have to unmute yourself. There you go. Maybe he's gonna unmute himself. Let's see. Just click on the little audio thing down at the bottom.
If you put your mouse over the little window that you're staring at, where all the people's faces are at, you should see an audio and a video icon over in the bottom corner,
Yeah,
in the left-hand corner.
way down in the left-hand corner. Move your mouse down there. He's looking. He's done this before, so it's not like,
Well, each tool is so different.
I couldn't get my mouse to give me an arrow to see where I was doing.
oh,
No,
okay.
I've been there's the head of the Terry Y group, and I communicate a little bit with him, but that's about it.
Okay.
And I'm not entirely sure. What is it? The big Y is what, over 700
Yeah.
that you,
Something
and I'm
like-
not entirely sure if that's not the one. I did the one I think below it.
You did the 111. So
Yeah.
we could
Yeah.
go see it. We could go check and see if there's a sale on them. Sales are always good. The upgrade.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how much more that would help me out by going to 700.
Yeah,
It's hard to say.
yeah, that's it.
Well, it's not the 700 markers that are as important as the SNPs, because the SNP is a unique identifier for that node on the tree of mankind. And with the big Y, you're looking for those individual nodes that have changed, and it gives you the path out to where you are on that tree of mankind. And if you've got others that have tested, you may find ones that you can definitely say that these are connected to the same man.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I just tested one of my dad's first cousins on his mother's side and got that big Y result back. And when I got the result back, he had 2 exact matches. I reached out to both of them. One of them contacted me within a half hour and wanted to have a conversation on the phone. We talked for a half hour and found out that his immigrant ancestor and my immigrant ancestor both came in the 1680s from England, and they were brothers.
Hmm.
And had the name changed over the years, do you think?
Well, my immigrant ancestor used Ratcliffe with a T. His used Radcliffe with a D.
Okay. Okay.
But they were brothers, but they used different names from the start.
And I had to go back to the start of your story because I'm like, well, why aren't they Yorks? It's because this was not you that was testing.
My mother's side. And
Your mother's side.
they were Quakers that came with William Penn in 1682, 1685.
Okay. All right. So you just have to pay your money and hope somebody's tested that's going to make the connection. So that's good.
Yeah, try it out. And then I guess the biggest thing is to get the person to, if that matches up with you, to really want to play. I mean,
They've invested some serious money in that. I would think that they would be more likely to respond.
hopefully more than the 111.
Yeah, yeah, you never know. Of course, that's it. Okay. All right. We could go. How many of you have signed up for besides Glenn going to Rootstack? How many of you have signed up to Rootstack? Any of you? Chuck has, Mary has,
I have.
Stacy
Yeah.
has, John has. Okay.
I
The rest,
have.
and Judy's hand went up. Good for her. Hey, she can make her thumb go up and down. I don't know how you do that. And okay. And Verlaine has too. Have you signed up for the, I'm gonna do this. Have you signed up for Are You Related? I love that. So I'm gonna share. For those of you that haven't done it or are thinking about it, first of all, you have to have you have to be able to sign into Family Search, and you have to have put yourself in the big Family Search tree that they've created, so that they can look at where you are in the tree and where these other people that have signed up for Rootstack and said they wanted to connect. So right now I have 28,511 relatives have joined. We do this every year. So I'm going to view my relatives. And my closest one, I happen to know this woman. She and I have corresponded over the years. But then it gets pretty far out there. This is, we can do it by family line, and this is where I always laugh. This will split it between my father and my mother. My father, I have one relative that is signed up. So the other 25,000 are all on my mom's side of the family, which has been here quite a long. And I happen to know who this Phyllis Lance is. So that's it. You do it by ancestor. If you can just pick an ancestor and see who's there. And you notice some of my larger ones were John David Graham has 115 descendants that have signed up. Sir Christopher Graham has 1,394. I have some issues with that. I don't know who Lieutenant Thomas Jones is. Margaret Florence Risk, I have no idea who some of these people are. I don't recognize them at all. I'm going to tell you these ones that they're claiming David Graham and William Grand Viscount of Dundee are probably not accurate. I think we were,
Select Prudence Elliott.
what'd you say?
Select Prudence Elliott. I saw you hovering over it a while ago.
Where was Prudence? She had a lot. Let's see, I can search. Where's Prudence? Keep an eye out for her, guys. Prudence Elliott, there, okay. So I have 3 people that that share this woman. So we'll look at this person here, Noel, and here's my relationship. And whoa, that's not so far back. I don't understand how where Prudence comes in. That doesn't make sense. Because I know this one I know straight up. I mean, I've got pictures of these people. Do you see Prudence on here at all? I don't see Prudence. So what did I do wrong?
It's descendants of Prudence, and
But
she
she's
may
not-
be back 3 or 4 more generations.
But
your
normally they take
connection
you
is-
back.
Well, your connection is closer than that.
Oh, it's closer than that. Okay, I see what you're saying. Prudence could be somewhere back here. I have no idea where. Okay, let's see if this other one works. Shannon. And, okay, we're getting up another generation beyond. I think Prudence Elliott is Nancy Wallingford's mother. I think. Let's try
She
one
is
more.
She's a matriarch of the Wallingford family, yes.
Okay, that must be the first wife.
That was
Okay.
why I was that's why when I saw it, I went,
Oh, so you recognize the name, okay.
yes, yes,
Okay, have you signed up for this, Carla?
yes, yes.
Well, let's see what happens then. I can search for you. And is it Carla with a K?
No, it's with the C, hun.
See, my neighbor's Carla with a K, and that always drives me nuts. CARLAANDERS.
And I don't know if you'll find me under that because that's not my sign-on name.
Well, we're gonna find out. No, so
Okay.
what's your sign
Type in-
name?
Type in CMA_1.
CMA underscore. Oh,
Yep.
no, I'm sorry, that's not an underscore. This is an underscore 1. Okay. There we are.
There you go.
Here's our relationship. And there we go.
It goes back to the Prudence Elliott.
Yep. So she's Benjamin's wife, or she's Benjamin's, okay. I'm descended from Nicholas and you're descended from Mary Frances, okay.
Mary,
Walling-
see, I'm married Prudence. That's the reason I recognize Prudence Elliott because she was named after
Yeah.
her mother.
So, and mine is pretty well documented all the way up to Nicholas. I can't be sure about Benjamin. The-
I'm the same way. As
Yeah.
soon to marry Prudence, we're golden.
Yeah, we're going there. But you can
But
search people.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the Wallingfords had so many children, generation after generation. It's hard to
Well,
get.
Nicholas had 18 children, 10 by the first
Right.
wife, 8 by the second. So my
Right.
Nicholas, that's a lot. Glenn, have you done this?
Yes,
Should we see if, are you in there as Glenn York? Let's see if we're related.
yeah, I think so.
No, oh, I spelled York wrong. Okay.
Oh, we're related, Glenn.
Yeah. Okay, you too? Let's see.
Mine's through the Burson Potts.
Oh my. I think we're getting into oh, and I can't make this bigger until I move the. Oh, where's my plus? There's the plus.
Do you have Quakers in your family, Glenn?
A lot of them.
Okay,
That's
this is,
why
this is,
Burson are Quakers, yeah.
this is the Connecticut branch. There's Jerusha. And then I know Anne, poor Anne. She was married to Jehiel and Jehiel died and she finally went and tried to get her Revolutionary War pension. And there's 30-something pages in the pension application and they denied it. They denied it. She got it. And then we go Mary Moss and see, I have no idea. I have not got up this way at all.
Yeah, I don't have any idea beyond Mary Ball.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, you and I are about the same, but somebody seems to think it's right. You never know. But that's kind of fun. Glenn and I are related.
Teresa, you and I
Yes.
are 12 cousins 2 times removed.
Are you in there, Judy? Is under your
but
name?
I'm in it. Yeah, I think it's just POHO though. But
P-O-
no R. Don't put the R.
POHO. Okay,
Just
okay.
POHO.
okay. Let's see our relationship. See, we're all related. Okay, whoa, how fun. Let's see how far back we know that we get it. I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing, Thaddeus Kramer, I know. There's Anne Maria. I know Anne
And
Maria.
the Sanders, I'm farther up with the Sanders. I know that's quite a ways up. I know all of those. So
Have you
yeah.
gotten this far up with the Pruitts?
yes, I'm up to
Oh.
Cecilia, John. I've got, I think they my DNA or daughter of DAR.
Okay.
The
I have
Pruitts.
not, I have not spent a lot of time on that family and I probably should as we go through there. I was surprised that I do have a Brewster. So which means I might be able to join if that tree is correct, I might be able to join the Mayflower.
Yeah.
But I I'm not gonna place money on it, see what happens. But these are all from my mother's side, my maternal grandmother's side. The rest of mine were way too recent. So you can go by ancestor and I could come down here and I could choose, is there a Haddon in here? Search by family line. Let's do this. Where's my mother? It's William David Haddon. I know, and I know this, I know who she is. She is, or maybe I don't know. Nope, I have no idea who that person is. Oh, this is the Kenny side. That's right. Okay. I saw that Vicky and I thought it was my mother's cousin's daughter, but I was wrong. And these two people are related. And so that's how that is. So, okay, so that's fun. If we go into Roots Tech, people with the last name Lewer have made their location public. Trust me, there is nobody by that name that's going to be there. Right now, there are 410,000 people who have signed up. These are who's doing it. Where do I get into Roots Tech? Let's do this. Roots Tech. I was going to look for the vendor. Oh. Come on, slowly but surely. It's going to go into the vendor. Let's see if there's a sale for Family Tree DNA. Okay, but the videos are up. Some of them have. Conference begins in 21 hours. I've already done, there's a create. Where's the vendors? Relatives at Roots Tech. There's the on-demand library that they're doing. There's the classes, the forums, LDS. It says in-person expo hall, can't make it, drop in and visit our expo. Let's see what, there won't be anything there yet, I doubt, but here's our free expo. Platinum sponsors, Family Search, Ancestry, MyHeritage, and Storied. Ooh, that's a new one. Okay, here's your expo hall. And this is last year's, obviously. Although I think they opened up at noon. Okay. Glenn, where is it simply because it's too early to find the family tree DNA? What do you think? Well, you're muted, so
I go to it on the smartphone app and it
Well,
just
you're
has a button for vendors and I go right to it.
okay. Reserved. Reserve your free spots. Oh, that's if I want to go, I don't want to go to the that's if I don't want to pay to go to the conference, but I want to go into their free expo. So that's it. I'm not doing that. Okay, we'll figure this out. Because there should be a way to see. I've registered already. Current event, connect. I've already registered. Okay, how to prepare. What to expect. Online. Day 1. Huh. Well, I think we might have to wait until it's open. Because I'm sure we have a Roots Tech store, but that's not what that is. Let's see. Oh, you can buy swag.
Yeah, it's
You
a
want
Red Tech,
some of those.
Tech swag.
That's fun. That's fun. Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure this out. But they do have they do have the classes. Some of them have started and or have been videoed and archived, and you can come in and build your schedule if you want to do that. And here's the full schedule online. And you can choose what you'd like to see.
If you're
Right.
on the mailing list for people like Diane Southard or whatever, you're
Yeah.
probably getting her emails about her sales already.
Yep. So they're doing sales and they're doing all sorts of things. So yeah. So let's see what Thursday has to say. And Australia. I've got 2 sessions here, but you can search if you want to. Watch videos up here, browse the library, search for a video. So we could do that, and we could just search DNA. And there's my popular search anyway. And come on. It's not. Oh, sorry, we are an issue loading the content. Please try again shortly while we investigate. All right, so we can't see what's going on. Okay, go away. All right, so we can't do anything. But that's, this is all free. It's worth getting lost in. So that's it.
A lot of
Audrey,
their
you
presentations,
go ahead.
a lot of
Was
their
that-
presentations that are recorded will be available for the next year. So you can watch
Or-
them in July or November.
or
You don't have
actually-
to watch them.
The 23 and 24 ones are online. So I think. I've
Not all of them.
They
Not all
are,
of them.
because I was looking at some of them. Not all of
Yeah.
them are, but some of them are.
Some of them are. Yeah, you know, they asked, I saw an interview with one of the guys in charge of this. It was really interesting. And they said, how long do you, he said, we leave them up for quite a while, a couple of years. He says, unless there's a major change in what they're talking about and something's been added and it's no longer, you know, pertinent, so we take it off. So we go from there. Audrey, are you there? Do you want to tell your story? Or are you still with us? I'm gonna stop sharing. Oh, we lost Audrey. She had an interesting, somebody contacted her and working on it was an adoption, and it's interesting, and she was sure that her uncle is the mother of, is the grandfather of this young woman. And the young woman has been talking to, she knows who the birth mother is, so she's talked a little bit to the family, and her family evidently knew, but they seem to think that it's not Carla's uncle, it's Carla's grandfather. And I'm like, the DNA I think there's too much DNA to have it be the grandfather, but we'll see. You never know. So, okay, anything else? Let's see, Verlaine, are you back home? Or are you still in Florida?
Oh, I'm back home.
Okay, how was the
I
cruise?
was over at IGS last night.
Oh, for the German. How was your cruise?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. Okay.
My husband got sick. I did not.
Okay. That's always good. That's good.
He should wash his hands more, I think.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Okay. All right. The 15th, Carla's doing 2 sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon on DNA Painter. I'm got to get signed up for that. I haven't done that yet, but I will, because I always learn something from that. So that's a thought for the rest of you. Is there anything else anybody has to chat about at this point? Otherwise, we'll give up and go home. How's that? Okay. We'll see you all next month. It's March already. It'll be spring then. All right. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
you all take care. We'll see you next month. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Bye.